Hello and welcome back for another edition of Fisher Football Focus. I'm your host, James Bailey. It was senior day this past weekend at Groundy Stadium. The Cardinals were looking to let their 33 seniors shine in their final home game. Their opponent, Hartwick, came into this weekend with a 2-6 record and a propensity for high-scoring shootouts. With Fisher's high-powered offense, this week looked to bring more of the same. Let's see how it all played out.
The fireworks began on the Cardinals' first possession. Senior quarterback Matt Nathan hits Will Kuhn down the left sideline for a 34-yard touchdown to lead off the scoring. Hartwick would answer with Tito Pichardo taking it right up the middle for a 6-yard score. A blocked extra point would let the Cardinals maintain a 6-7 advantage. Fisher would fire right back. Nathan to Kuhn again. Same play, same result. The 54-yard touchdown gave Fisher a 14-6 lead. Later on the first, Hartwick quarterback Thomas Sandusky throws a jump ball under the end zone. The Hawks' Corey Reed wins the battle, hauling in the 30-yard touchdown to tighten the gap. Fisher kept the back and forth going. Early in the second quarter, Nathan connects with Mike Cliccio from 18 yards out to widen the gap back out to 8. 3 minutes later, Nathan and Kuhn connect again. The sophomore receiver takes the screen pass 29 yards to the end zone to put Fisher up 28-13. After another Hartwick touchdown, senior Tony Fusco would get in on the action, plunging in to score from a yard out. Late in the half, Sandusky gets picked off by sophomore ball hawk DeMar Nelson, his 5th interception of the year. That set up the Cardinals to score on the last play of the half. Nathan tosses up a jump ball to the right side of the end zone, and freshman Will Blake uses his strength to rip the ball from the Hartwick defender and secure a Cardinal touchdown. Fisher went into the half up 42-20. The Hawks hung around the second half. Here, Pichardo scores from a yard out to keep Hartwick within 2 scores. Then after 2 Fisher field goals, it's Pichardo again, lunging into the end zone to make the score 48-32 Cardinals. But Fisher would do what it had to do to hang on. Nathan hits J.J. Mulvey here for a school record 6th passing touchdown on the day. Then in the waning minutes of the game, Kuhn proves that he can score on special teams too, catching this onside kick and taking it 44 yards in for another Cardinals touchdown. Fisher won the explosive battle 68-40. Nathan went out with a bang on his senior day, finishing with 504 passing yards and a school record 6 passing touchdowns. Fusco had 116 yards and a score in his final home game. The sophomore Kuhn ended up with a school record 222 receiving yards and 4 total touchdowns. The win moves the Cardinals to 8-1 on the season and 6-1 in the Empire 8. And that sets up the long-awaited matchup for the Empire 8 crown. Fisher travels down to Alfred next weekend to take on the undefeated Saxons. The winner of the matchup will be Empire 8 champions and secure an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. The loser has to sweat things out on Selection Sunday.
Coming up next, head coach Paul Vosberg will be joining me to finally discuss Alfred, so keep it here.
Welcome home, man.
Welcome back to Fisher Football Focus, of course joined by head coach Paul Vosberg. Happy to have you on another week, Coach.
Thanks for having me again.
So, when you win 68-40, there's really kind of 2 ways you can look at the game. You can go out there with the mindset, hey, we dominated the game, we put up 68 points, and we won by 4 touchdowns. Or you could, take the more, I guess, the pessimistic approach and say, we let Hartwick hang around for 3+ quarters and that gave up 40 points to them. So, which kind of approach have you been taking?
Well, a little bit of both. I looked at it that I thought we did some really good things offensively. I thought we did some pretty good things defensively, but then our biggest problem on defense was when we had opportunities to make plays, we didn't make those plays. We had opportunities to get ourselves off the field a couple of times. We had people in position to make interceptions and give the ball back to our offense, and we didn't do those things. A couple of interceptions we dropped, and then let them continue to throw the football, and then their one wide receiver Reed, he did a great job taking the ball away from our guys. So there were some good things defensively, but then I just didn't like that we had opportunities to get ourselves off the field, and then we knew going in that the strength of this Hartwick football team was their ability to throw the football and their offense with a really good tailback and a good quarterback. So we did do a nice job on their tailback. He didn't have a great day against us, but they did throw pretty well. And for all the points they scored, they only had, I think, 401 or 410 total yards. So they didn't have a ton of offense, but too many points.
Yeah, and you mentioned Reed. I mean, I saw you guys were throwing everything you could at Reed, trying different guys on him. By the time I think the middle of the second quarter came around, you had Elk Morlaro kind of like mirroring him, and he still went out there and put up big numbers. So, what as a coach, what do you kind of do? Do you kind of concede that he's going to put up the big numbers and just try to stop everything else?
Yeah, but the reality is that once Mortellaro did get on him in man coverage, he did slow him down a lot. He didn't catch a lot of big balls after that. Most of his yardage came early in the first and second quarter and that. So we did some things, and we knew we were going to have to, because he's done it to everybody. I mean, not just us. We saw him in a couple games. Against Buffalo State, he had a 99-yarder, a 73-yarder, a 53-yarder, and that was all in the first half. So so we knew he was explosive and could do that, and they could get him the football. So again, I think we could have done better. So I'm disappointed that we didn't do better than that.
Well, on the offensive end, you also had your own explosive players. Will Kuhn put up the receiving yardage, single game record of 222 receiving yards, and then Matt Nathan on his senior day put up 504 passing yards, 6 passing touchdowns. Passing touchdowns was a school record. Have you ever had a player put up numbers like that in his senior day? I mean, that was a pretty explosive final game in Groutney Stadium.
Oh, that's an explosive day for him. Yeah, I was happy for all the seniors that they could be a part of that game and win a big game on senior day and so in front of their parents. And we were fortunate because the game did go so well for us. We were able to get almost all our seniors, and we had 33 seniors dressed. One was dressed, but he couldn't play in that. But we had 33 seniors, and just about all of them got into the game, got some play time, and that was good.
Yeah, and when you're up in the fourth quarter, the quote unquote garbage time in there, but it was kind of an important time. You were able to do things like get those seniors in, and but you also would get some younger guys some playing time, and even I saw you guys experimenting a little bit in the fourth quarter. That final drive, you brought in Pat Chamberlain, your starting cornerback, on the opposite of Morlaro. He was the one following around Reed on that final drive, so trying lots of different things. So you always take every single, you always kind of calculating, if we're up by this much of this time, this is what I want to get done.
Yeah, we were trying to look at some things and get some people some play time and just finish the game and do the best we could and make sure that we're getting better as the game goes on. All
right. Well, Coach, every week you say the cliche that that the next game is the most important one of the season, and for a while now I've been hinting that Alfred was going to be the most important of the game of the season. So now we can both agree that Alfred is the most important of the game of the season, correct?
No doubt about it. It is the most important game coming up, and that so it's huge.
So on paper, this should be a fantastic game. I mean, just running down a few stats. The average score of your guys' games is 38-24 Fisher. Average score of their games 38-19 Alfred. So very similar there. You guys put up 431 yards per game. They put up 445. Both similar on third down percentage. You have a better turnover differential. You plus 11 to plus 7, but really just, if you could look at both teams statistically, and I know stats don't tell all the stories, two very evenly matched teams, you and Alfred. So what are you going to be doing specifically to get kind of an edge?
Well, we hope that, one, we win the field position battle. That'll help us a lot because they do have a very good offense. They've got an outstanding quarterback. He runs the ball extremely well. He throws good passes, and so they got an explosive offense and led by their quarterback. He's the key to their thing because he does run and throw the ball very well, and that. So if we can get good field position, that's important. we got to have better field position than we did this last weekend. I think when we beat Ithaca, one of the reasons we were able to beat Ithaca the way we did is we won the field position game that day with our special teams, and that'll be big coming up this week against Alfred. Win the field position, do a great job on special teams, give your offense great opportunities, and put your defense in a good position to be successful. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the winner of this game makes the NCAA tournament. If you guys lose this game, not guaranteed a spot. If you look at the polls right now, probably won't get in. So you kind of treating this game as kind of a pseudo playoff game. I mean, obviously you're going to go out there and treat every game like you need the win, but is it a little extra emphasis on this week because it kind of is a pseudo playoff game to get you guys into the NCAAs?
Yeah, there's no doubt, and we want a part of this championship. I mean, we want to come out of here with the Empire 8 championship, and that's our usually one of our first goals, and that goal leads you to the NCAAs, and so we need to make sure we take care of that, and that's our number one goal, is to win the game and be the Empire 8 champions.
And is it a little easier to go into the final game? I mean, obviously the past couple of years you've needed help in the final week to try to win the Empire 8. Unable to get it past couple of years. So does it help a little bit that you're playing Alfred, the team you have to beat, you had to have lose to win the Empire 8?
Well, yeah, it's a little different than last year, because last year at this time there was 3 of us going for the Empire 8 championship. We were all 5-2 going into the game. There was Cortland, Alfred, and ourselves. So since we were playing Alfred, one of us was going to tie for the title for sure and could win it all if Cortland would lose. But that didn't happen. We did beat Alfred that day, and so that secured us at least the championship, a part of the championship, but did not put us in the playoffs. Cortland had the edge on us going into that because they had beaten us head-to-head. And so when Cortland did beat Ithaca, we still had part of the championship, but they had the head-to-head. And that's the same thing this year. If we win the head-to-head and win this game on Saturday, we're Empire 8 champions, and we won the head-to-head, so we go to the playoffs.
Do you think it gives a? I mean, I don't know how to word this. Is it giving you a little bit of an advantage because Alfred being the undefeated team, they might be wrestling a little bit, whereas you guys have the one loss and maybe have a little bit more fire to know that you want to knock them off and not let them be the undefeated team of the Empire 8? Well,
maybe so. I think both teams are looking at this, and it's just a huge game. I think on the other hand, I think Alfred's got to be thinking they got home field advantage. And it's always, I'd love to be in Growney Stadium this Saturday, more than driving down to Alfred. But I'm just glad to be driving down there with the idea that we're playing for the championship on Saturday. So that's the big thing. No matter where the game's being played, that's the big thing at this point.
Finally, get into some specifics. You mentioned they have a tough passing game, but obviously, they're successful in all assets to be undefeated, and their running game is fantastic too. As a team, they average 5.8 yards per rush, and their top running back Malik Fuentes has 7.6 yards per carry. So, very successful running back. Can you but the Empire 8 has a variety of them, and the one that comes to mind is Dane Andrews of Brockport. Obviously, usually goes out there and puts up big numbers. You would have liked to have been a little more successful against Andrews, obviously, when you played Brockport, but just playing against a running back like that earlier in the season helped prepare you for a team like Alfred that has a few really good running backs.
Andrews, I still think maybe they'd be the #1 running back in the conference that we faced, but that's not taking anything away from Fuentes. He's right up there. He's very good. He's a different style running back. He's a very, very quick. He's probably the quickest of the backs that we placed, and he's not as big and strong as Andrews is, but he's extremely quick, and so he can make all the plays. I saw him in the backfield where it looked like against Utica they had him for a 5 or 6 yard loss, and all of a sudden he's got a 12-yard gain. How he got out of there, I don't know, but he got out of there. So he's very, very good. They are a very good running football team because that quarterback can run. They've got another little running back that can run too. So they're good at running the football, and that makes them tough because then they can throw the ball downfield to #4. And the Bush kid is a good receiver. He's a tall kid, and he can catch the ball. And so their running game really sets up that passing game for them and sets up that quarterback.
All right, Coach. Well, I know we're going to get out of here and start preparing more for this Alfred game. So I'll let you go. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
After the break, I'll be joined by senior punter Brandon Bellis, so stay here.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me back. Hey, did you tell your parents about us? Let's skip first period together. Did you get all my texts? Is practice over yet? Where are you at? Are you with your friends? That's L-A-A-A-A-M-M-E-E-E. Capital X, lowercase o, capital X, lowercase o. I love you. JK, I hate you. JK. Are you ignoring me? We're in a huge fight right now. Is this something I did? I can see your lights on. I'm coming over. What'd you dream about? Me? I'm lonely. Holla back. Holla back. Let's try something new. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Welcome back to Fisher Football Focus, joined now by senior punter Brandon Bells. Happy to have you on the show, Brandon.
Thank you for having me.
So, in a week where the offense was out there kind of setting some records and stuff like that, there wasn't a lot of need for you this past week. I've always kind of wondered with punters and special teamers in general, because on the mindset, because obviously as a competitor, you probably want to be out there doing your thing and doing what you can to help the team. But at the same time, a coach will probably say the most successful game is one where the punter doesn't get on the field at all. So what's your kind of feelings about your role on the team?
Yeah, last week the offense broke, Matt Naden broke the passing touchdown record, and Coombe broke the wide receiver single game record. And it's a good day when I don't see the field, but it is what it is. I'm happy that the team, gets the win. Even though I don't play that much, it's still awesome to be a part of it. When they need me, I'll be there and I'll do what I can for them.
Yeah, and how do you kind of prepare? Because obviously, it can be kind of tough as a special teamer not knowing the situation. Even, you're preparing to go out there, it's like a 3rd and 20, and then your offense picks it up. It's different because you can't have that mindset of knowing whenever you're going to go out there. So how do you kind of get in that mindset? You're going to be out there 5 or 6 times a game just to know that, you got to be on for those 5 or 6 plays that are out there.
It's just repetition. I just make sure I'm always on the sideline doing drop drills. Me and the kicker Devin Dejakowicz, we do our footwork and make sure we're flexible on the sideline, always stretching, and just make sure that when our time is called, we're out there and we'll go out there and do our job the best we can.
What led you to going into special teams being a punter?
Injury, honestly. Injury. But I did it all through my high school career, and then I got hurt towards my junior year, and it really just led to me just being a kicker because I couldn't do all that I was doing. And I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to go to college and do that. So it just really, it grew on me, basically. It's a great position. You don't always get the fame and the reward, I guess, but it's fun being part of the team still.
Yeah, and that's the thing you read about, especially books about the NFL and stuff like that. Is that kind of like the special teams guy, the kicker, punter, long snapper. Those guys are kind of like the extra guys. They don't really merge with the rest of the team. The rest of the team they all feel like the real players, and that you guys kind of get marginalized. You feel like you kind of mesh well with your guys on the Fisher team?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're brothers. We're all family. We love each other. We all look out for each other. Every time I come off the field, there's always someone there to tell me a good job or something. Everyone's really supportive.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of game-changing special teams on all sides as far as block kicks for you guys, forcing fumbles on kickoffs. But one game-changing special teams play we haven't seen thus far this year is a fake punt, and we saw that last year. Brendan Fuentes in the Courage Bowl had that 50-yard fake punt brought in for a touchdown. You ever pushing for the coaches to do something to get yourself more in the action?
I have. I'm not as quick as Fuentes, but I would like to throw a pass there maybe once. But yeah, we practiced it in practice, and maybe if the opportunity is right, we'll go for it. But it's only hope. It's not looking like reality anytime soon.
Yeah, but with the big game against Alfred, plays like that can sometimes be the big game-changing plays. So, would you be ready to kind of make your?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Those plays change the momentum of the game, change the outcome of the game. Just one big special teams play, whether it's a big punt inside of the 5 or a kickoff return to over the 50. Those are huge. Special teams really plays a big part in these kind of games, these tough games where both offense and defense are equally matched.
Yeah, and obviously, at the same time, there's so much more magnified because special teams plays obviously percentage-wise a much smaller role, and it actually brings back I think the only highlight that the punting game actually got in there for you guys this year was the game against Springfield when the ball got dropped there. So there's obviously everything gets magnified, and if you do make a bad play, then it gets a little more magnified too because it's such a there's fewer plays for you to make up for it. So how do you kind of turn around knowing that you have limited chances to make up for a mistake? How do you go out there and kind of turn something around like that?
Well, Coach Vaz really is he's big on special teams. He really knows the importance of it. He knows by the end of the year he always preaches that special teams will have the most yards compared to offense or defense. So we spend a lot of time perfecting every single special teams during practice, during the week. And it really it pays off. We correct little things here and there, and then it just becomes second nature to us. So it's really just a lot of preparation. So
yeah, and it's showed on the field as you mentioned. We had the block extra point this past week. Block punt, that was a big play, turning point in the game the week before. Mentioned a couple times forced fumbles on kickoffs. So yeah, special teams has played a big role all year. Because you're a senior, Brandon, before we move into Alfred, we've been doing this all seniors come on the show. Just talk a little bit about life after Fisher, so maybe what your major is and what you're looking to get into after you're leaving the college.
Well, my major is business management, and I'm really looking out there just to get into a management position, run something, hopefully open up my own business or something like that. Don't know exactly what yet, but hopefully somewhere along those lines. And I mean, this Fisher has really set me up with a great opportunity. I mean, not only just the education but football also. I mean, the teachings that Coach Vaz, Coach Mervis have talked to me, multiple times on different just life situations or what to do in different situations. It really I feel has put me a step ahead of the game when leaving Fisher.
Yeah, and so obviously the Fisher team means a lot too, and it's going to mean even more with this Alfred game coming up here. Because potentially could be the last game of the season if you guys don't go out there and win. So, looking specifically at your position in the punting game, Alfred doesn't have a propensity for long returns. Their longest return of the year was 22 yards. You only average about 7.4 yards per return. So don't have to look too big at that. So what do you? I mean, obviously, I don't know how a punter kind of prepares. Like, what are you doing? Anything different for Alfred, or you just kind of go out there and do your routine every time?
Really, we're just preparing just to, try and get the best kick out there. Make sure we corner them on the sideline, angle the punts. We really work on that a lot. Just make sure we don't want any return. So I just have to hang it up there, and we're aiming for 35 plus yards per punt. So we're just practicing into the wind, making sure that wind isn't a big factor if there is wind, because it's a whole different technique when there is wind. You have to drop the ball lower, and your hand position has to be different. So we really make sure that we prepare for all the elements and control the kicks.
All right, and as a player in the locker room, this is the big game, almost kind of, it's a game that would put you in the playoffs. But is this kind of being treated like a sort of pseudo playoff game here, where it's kind of you gotta keep on winning, gotta win this game to keep on moving forward the way you would in the playoffs?
Well, we kind of, like Coach Vaz always says, one game at a time. So this is our championship game. This is what we've been playing all season for. This is what we did in all the hard work that we put in the off season. This is what it's all coming to. And we're really glad we put ourselves in this position. We're proud to be in this position, and hopefully we can get that win on Saturday.
Yeah, actually, before I forget to ask us here, too, as you mentioned, this is for the Empire 8, and this past weekend we saw men's soccer team and field hockey team both win Empire 8 championships. I know that kind of the whole athletic community here at Fish is kind of a big fraternity. Everyone, all the athletes on all teams seem to be pretty good friends with each other. Does it put a little more pressure on you guys as the football team now that 2 other teams have won Empire 8 championships, that you don't want to be the team that goes out there and loses it,
I mean, I really haven't thought about it that way. I mean, I was there for field hockey when they won against Houghton.
I believe it was Houghton.
Yeah, Houghton. And, it was awesome to see them win the championship. I mean, hopefully we can do it. Really haven't put any thought about more pressure. I mean, it's always, we're Fisher. We always have a target on our back. Every team who plays us, always makes sure to bring their best because we'll always bring our best. So we just, look at it as always, having to win.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on, Brandon. Good luck.
Thank you for having me.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Fisher Football Focus. Be sure to check back next week to see if the Cardinals can beat Alfred and secure the Empire 8 crown. For Cardinal Television, I'm James Bailey. Catch you next time.